You guys, tick, tick, tick. Hello, lovely OTs. Welcome to my channel. I am Nancy. Okay, and this is a lovely OT channel. I'm an occupational therapist, and on this channel we talk all things therapy, okay? So if you're interested, definitely go ahead and subscribe. I also help students get into OT school, stay in OT school, and I also help them transition into being clinicians, okay? So if you're interested in any of these, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and like and share this video, okay? Also, make sure that you follow me on Instagram, lovely_ot, okay? If you forget any of the things that I just said, just go ahead and look down below. I have it all listed all beautifully for you, okay? All right, so let's get into today's video. Well, someone recently asked me this question. I thought, maybe I should do a video about it. So that's what I'm going to do today. They basically asked me how my upbringing was and how I think I became successful as far as in education, right? Or maybe they were talking about it in general. I need to take a sip of something. So I have my kombucha here today. You guys, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I love, for some reason, I love this brand. There's so many different brands. I like this one and I like the Yum one. The Yum one is really, really good too as well. So let's go ahead and take a little sip, okay? Okay. So, so she was basically asking me, you know, how do I prep my kids for success? How do you think you were able to be successful with education and everything else like that? How was your upbringing and things like that? And so this video is going to be dedicated to her. Okay, you guys, make sure you also send me some questions because I may dedicate a video just for you. Okay. So to that, I would say this. So I don't want to go on a tangent because I can sit here and talk all day long, okay? So I'm going to try to simplify it as much as possible until give you guys a little bit snippet of how my childhood was. So if you guys don't know, I was born in Ghana, West Africa specifically, okay? And growing up, I'm the firstborn of 4 kids. Growing up, my parents are very, and I feel like in the African community in general, education is so important to us, right? We thrive on educating our girls and our boys, and that was my upbringing coming up. My dad is educated. He also has his master's degree. And my mother, well, my mom was a cop back home in Ghana, okay? And my dad had a really, really good job working for like a nonprofit organization. So they both had good jobs. They both had pretty good education. And so coming up, education was expected for me to do good. Right, it was expected for me to, you know, go to school and stay focused. That was my job growing up as a kid. Obviously, I didn't have any other job but to go to school, okay? And the thing that my parents did that I will never ever forget, like now, I love to read because of my father. So growing up for a little bit, I wasn't living with my father. My father's job really demanded him to be traveling a lot and things like that. And so what he used to do, which is so cool, I'll do this. I'm probably going to do this with my kids too. He will literally tell me, he would bring me like a bunch of books and he would tell me, go ahead and read the books. The next time I see you or the next time I visit, I'm going to sit down with you and we're going to discuss the book together. So I was like as a kid, right, I was so into like, I got to finish reading this book so when daddy comes, we can sit down, we can talk about the book. And he's like, if you're able to really summarize the whole book for me, you're going to get some kind of gift or whatever, you know. So that was my motivation. Like, I'm going to read this book and when daddy comes, I'm going to get my gift. I'm going to talk about it. And so I was always reading books and always looking forward to seeing my daddy to talk about it. So that was a motivational factor for me. So I think that having some kind of motivational factor for your kids is important, right? Whatever it is, whatever your kids are interested in, or whatever hook that you're going to use to get your kids to read, to want to educate themselves. Like at that age, I didn't know that I was educating myself. I just knew that I needed to read this book so I can see daddy, so we can talk about the book. and it was something that I was so joyful about and I was looking forward to, right? Also, my parents had a tutor for me after school. So I'll go to regular school, and then after school we had a tutor to come home to kind of tutor us if we had questions on homework and things like that. And so from the beginning, I've always been a nerd. I've always loved to read. I love school. I've always been a really good student. Like, I don't remember any time that I wasn't a good student, and that's because that's how my parents expected us to be. That's what they expected from us. Another thing that my parents did also growing up, even when we moved here, were that, especially my mother became very involved in our education. Meaning, like, little things like if I was doing something in school, she would show up for it. Right, and I know a lot of parents are not that great at doing this, but this is so important, and it's so important for us, the children, to see that our parents are invested in our education. Like, I used to be so happy to see my mom come into school just to see me performing whatever the hell I was performing, right? She would come, she would support me, you know, being there for me when I graduated, like, that whole, like, you're doing good, baby, you got it. And during the times where I did feel like, man, I don't feel like doing this, man, like, this is too hard, my mom has always been my greatest motivator. Like, she'd be like, you got it, like, you can do this, like, you know, like, she was always constantly motivating me, always constantly telling me that I can do whatever it is that I want to do. Like, nobody can stop you, nothing can stop you, you got this. If you want to do whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. Basically, was always in my household growing up. So that has almost become a part of me. Now I love to read books, even though I don't have the time and the luxury to read as many books as I used to. I was that kid when I was in high school, like, no lie. I would literally stay after school just so I can go to the library and get books and read books and things like that. That was me. It had become a part of me because growing up as a child, that's what my parents used to raise me. Like, books, like, that's your thing. You're gonna read a book and then you're gonna get this. You're gonna read a book and you get to see daddy. Like, you're gonna read a book and you get to see da 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 and do this da da da. So for me, it has always been my foundation. Education and school and all that has always been a part of me. So I would say, to prep your kids for success, please make sure that you are invested in your kids' education. Make sure that you prep them as children. Don't wait until they start school. Even as, like, 1 year old, start to talk to them about school, start to read to them, start getting them books, educational programs on TV. Like, be invested in that way. If they need a tutor, if you have the luxury to get a tutor for them, get one for them. If it's not always about money, sometimes it's just about the time, making the time to go to their school, their PTA meetings, making the time to show up for them. If they're having a hard time with the homework, making the time to try to help them out. If they're, quote unquote, not doing that well, get them help instead of, like, making it so difficult for them, right? Get them that help. And if you are very invested in your child's education, you're going to tell when there's something wrong. You're going to tell if they're not doing that well. You're going to tell if they need a little bit more help here and there. And so be invested in your children's education. Encourage them. Be their biggest encourager. Like, encourage them, always push them, always be the biggest supporter, be the #1 fan. Whatever it is that your kid wants to do, help them, motivate them, encourage them to do it. And that, I think, is my biggest advice. And I will definitely be applying this to myself when I have children, but I'm telling you guys from how my upbringing was as far as education. Okay. Set the ground rules for them, set the blueprint for them, set that expectation for them, and they'll be just fine. And if they're not doing good, do not drag them down, uplift them. Okay? All right, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Come on, like, you know you love my videos, and that's why you're watching me. Why don't you just go ahead and hit subscribe? I really want to hit 10K this year. Like, guys, that is my ultimate goal. So anyway, and make sure that you also follow me on lovely with 2 Y's _OT on Instagram, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, ciao.